Davenport Coaches Show coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia. We're here on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. You can come out and join us if you want out here, but we had a raucous crowd earlier today while we were setting up. The Tigers, of course, won that big baseball game, and Sparky's thrilled about that, but the Tigers are just one step away of advancing in one more round in the American League playoffs. But we're here to talk football tonight. Head coach Sparky McEwen's here. I'm Rick Berkey. Talk about the Panthers game last Saturday against Grand Valley State, number 2 in the nation. And then we'll talk about later on in the show, we'll come back and talk about this week's game as Sparky's Road Warriors hit the road again all the way up to the UP to take on Michigan Tech up in the far reaches of the Keweenaw Peninsula in Houghton there, as Davenport goes up there for the third time in 4 years. But first, Sparky, we're going to touch on Grand Valley State. It was kind of a different game. For one thing, it's unusual. No scoring in the entire second half by either team. It was 24-7 at the half. That's how it finished up. And but in the end, it was their ground game and ball control that probably was the difference in the game.
It was. We go into games like that, and I always talk to you about up front. You got to be able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And Grand Valley, they're the number 2 team in the country as advertised, and they do a really good job of that. And I talked to you about that the week before, and we really felt like in the first half we saw some things that that we could hit, and we it seems like we were having our way, for a while there, but we couldn't finish the deal on some of those things. So a lot of credit has to go to them. They did some nice things in the secondary that threw us off a little bit. And then they made some adjustments in the second half. It just made it, really tough on us.
Yeah, they in the first half especially, they throwing to their backs out of the backfield caused some problems defensively.
It did, and that's the one thing that going in, but on some of those throws, that were scores, I really felt like there were some calls that could have been made that were not made. That's on tape. And it's unfortunate because that's a big game. Kids play so hard, and you want to make sure that, we get every opportunity that's coming to us. And they executed what they put in. And, we were looking for a couple calls on that thing and out of the backfield. And, our kids tried our best to get there. But, when there was a block made on them, it made it extremely tough for us to execute what we needed to stop the play.
You already knew from your play against number 11 Central Missouri, you're losing by a single point, that you can play with the top teams, and they at least had to come out of that saying again, that Central Missouri game was no fluke because you went toe-to-toe with Grand Valley State, and as we said, shut them out for the entire second half.
Well, going into that thing, that always is something that, you go into the locker room and, kids obviously, wanted to come out and play hard. They play hard for 4 quarters of football. And we just did not cancel in or cash in on some opportunities that we set ourselves up for. But I always tell people, give credit to the guys on the other side of the ball. They had something to do with that. And, we're not interested in just being competitive against these powerhouses. We want to go in and be able to have a chance to win and win championships. And that's where we're at right now in our program. And I'm proud of my boys. I'm proud of where they're at, with things that are going on, but we got to be able to take that next step.
They had the ball for almost an entire quarter more in time of possession, and that's been kind of a recurring theme with this team. Even the games you won, you're losing the time of possession, and so what has to be done to move the chains more often, to level that off more?
Well, what we have to do on defense is get off the field. They had 19 third down opportunities, and out that 19, I think they cashed in on maybe close to 50% of them. You can't do that if you expect to play championship ball. And then on the other side of that, offensively, we got to take care of the ball. We got to hold on to the ball because we've had one score now in 6, quarters. Dating back to the William Jewell game. We didn't score in the second half of the William Jewell game, and then we scored once in this last quarter. So, I'm looking for some things to change. In this coming game, and our guys know we're on the clock. We're on the clock. Our offense has got to go in and get it done, and they know what the expectation is.
You mentioned that you've looked at the tape now. Coaches often go and come away from watching the tapes of the game and saying, we did that better than I thought, or I thought we did not do that as well as I thought. Any revelations that you looked at the game a little differently once you went back and looked at it on film?
We did. Going into that game, we really felt like, our quarterbacks were going to have to play big in that game. And we had some things that were there, but we were not, between both my signal callers, we were not able to capitalize on a couple of those things. And then we felt like, offensively, we could have put ourselves in a little better position as well, offensively as play callers. We felt like there were some things that we missed out on as well. So you're not going to get a lot of opportunities when you play against a team, like Grand Valley on defense. They're suffocating. I thought we had a really good game plan going in, but all those plans look good on paper, man, but you got to go out ultimately and execute.
You mentioned your quarterbacks, DeJuan Mathis. You can see the last 2 weeks especially, you can see when he gets outside, he really makes a difference running the football. He is. He's a problem. He's a problem once he gets on the perimeter. And the nice thing about DeJuan actually he's stacking practices upon practices. We had a minor setback when he was out for that week. And now he's back. I feel like he's 100%. And when he gets outside, he does a good job in the passing game. He can be sharp as a thrower. Mike, at the same time, I've talked to Mike that I want to see a little more consistency there. He's a guy that can run the ball as well. So we've got do with the right guys at the position. Now we just have to have a little more consistency if we're planning on making a run. I thought we saw more designed runs by the quarterback last Saturday than we normally see. Was that because of the defense they were showing, or because that's what you wanted to do? That's what we wanted to do. We're starting to get comfortable with these guys. Both these guys are new to our system, and both of them are starting to get comfortable as well. So, I talk about stacking practices and getting better and being a little more. What does that mean, stacking practices? You want to have a good day. On Tuesday. You want to have a good day on Wednesday, a good day on Thursday. Consecutive. And, that's the consistency you want to build in your program. And now that both these young men are understanding our scheme, I'm starting to see some things in both of them that I'm very pleased about. And, it's a quarterback, happy system, okay? And we ask our guys to be good point guards, okay? We have plenty of guys open the last 2 weeks. Plenty of guys open. Actually, we went back and we took a look at it. Over 3 weeks, we've had 36 incompletions. Out of the 36 incompletes, 33 of them we actually could have did something about. So for me, seeing that and knowing that and watching my guys understand the education behind what needs to go into completing those balls, I mean, think about 33 more completions. We might even half of those. Yeah. So my guys are getting more familiar with what we're doing, and it's understandable. When you're new to our system, when you're new to what we're trying to do, my guys just are getting comfortable with it, and as soon as they get comfortable with it, we could be a problem. How are your wide receivers grading out so far? They've been solid. They're blocking extremely well. You don't see many drops from us this year. We got to do a better job of getting the ball to them. We got to be a better job as play callers on our end of getting the ball into those guys' hands, And with that, you got to protect them. You got to protect those guys. If we can protect them and have those guys comfortable, we could be extremely tough because we got some weapons. Seems like the offensive line is slowly coming around. That can take the longest time, I know, the offensive line to gel. But we're seeing little flashes where there are actually a few holes out there for Myron and Kendall and company to run the football. When you take a good look at it, we have the ability to explode. Okay, and we showed a little bit of that against, Central Missouri. Central Missouri is kind of more in that arena football mode where they challenge you to score right now, and we were able to, But some of these defenses we're playing now, they play a little softer and make you drive the distance, and we got to prove that we can put together a 12-play drive and then, obviously, pay dirt in the end. In our final segment, we're going to have you back here, Coach, to talk about this week's opponent, Michigan Tech, 12 noon up in Houghton. But you've also brought a special guest, Cameren Grodhaus, defensive back, a young man transferred from Lake Erie. We're going to have Cam in here, but before we do, I want you to tell us how you became familiar with him and what stood out that your coaches saw, said, we want to get this man in camp because he's already made major contributions. Actually, Coach Amir that coached here, he was very familiar with him, and he was the reason that Cam actually made the trip here. We were so excited, that he decided to come here and, play for us. He's a guy he's a spark plug. He runs around and he's very vocal, a really smart guy. He's a smart guy. He already has his degree, but his football IQ is off the chart. And, you do the games. He is a ferocious hitter. He flies around, and, man,
But he's a captain on the football team, and he's well respected on campus. We're very proud of him, and we're lucky to have him.
Do you have year-long captains, or do you go week to week with that?
No, we have year-long. We have year-long captains, and the players vote on it, obviously.
For transfers to come in like that and be named a captain says something. It
says a whole lot for you. It does. It says a lot about who you are, and that happened last year with Wilkerson.
Yes.
And look at the type of young man that he is. So our guys did a good job. Our guys did a good job on selecting Cam. He earned it. And the way you earn it is by showing up every day and stacking days and showing guys that, you're committed to the program and winning.
All right, Coach. Well, go have some of that good Uccello's food. We're going to get Cam Grodhaus in here, talk about him as we'll continue with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Stay with us. We continue here with the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Stop out here on Wednesday nights, or any time for that matter. Take advantage of these great screen TVs. They've got about 25 of the larger ones, and they've got another dozen or so of the medium-sized ones. You can follow. I mean, there's baseball, football, hockey going on, basketball even. So it's a great place, see, a great setting, a lot of great atmosphere here, and the folks are great staff, great food. It's just a great place to be for fun and food, and so stop on out here. Uccello's in Caledonia here, right on the Beltline. Our next guest, the aforementioned Cameren Grodhaus. Cam is a 6'2 grad student from Wellsville, Ohio originally, went to Lake Erie College. First, Cam, let's ask you a little bit about what we were asking Sparky. How did you become familiar with Davenport? Tell us about the recruiting process and what caught your eye and made you eventually come over here to West Michigan.
Well, really early on, Coach Mack actually he got in contact with me, I think via Twitter, and I actually had a former coach that was up here, so I was already.
Who's that?
Coach Ishmael, actually.
Oh, Coach Amir, yeah, he mentioned that, yeah.
And so I already had that relationship built with him, and really just getting to know Coach Mack, Coach Walker, and then Coach Sparky. It felt like home, and as soon as I came here on my visit, I kind of knew, and I was able to commit almost right away on the visit, so I had a really good feeling about this place.
Well, you had a terrific undergrad career academically and in football. You were named to the GMAC All-Academic Team 4 times. You got your undergrad degree in political science. What was your grade point you finished up with?
In my undergrad, I had a 3.88.
3.88. Wow, that is superb. And then he had again an outstanding career, 9 tackles and 1.5 tackles for loss against Hillsdale. Any one game stand out from your Lake Erie College career that you remember?
I think my freshman year, actually, so COVID freshman year, the first year we actually got to play, we played up at Hillsdale, and we beat them, and it was like a really big win for our program. That year we actually went, I think we had the best record since their inaugural season. We went 5-6, so that was like a really big win. Stood out as a team for us.
You know, here at Davenport, it's always windy, and it'll get cold eventually, but you probably know something about wind and cold playing out at Lake Erie. Tell us about what those home games were like sometimes.
Yeah, definitely towards the back end of the season, we got hit with the weather and the snow, sleet, everything. We played in and all. We practiced in the morning, so we got the cold weather a lot, and it was really windy there too.
All right, let's go back even farther than Lake Erie. Let's go back to your high school days. You went to a southern local high school in Ohio under Coach Richard Wright. Where is Wellsville? Pardon my ignorance.
Oh, no, it's like, so Youngstown is about 30 minutes south of Youngstown, right on the Ohio River. So we call it the Tri-State. It's right by West Virginia and Pennsylvania as well.
Southern, a big school, small school, medium? What was it?
Pretty small. We were the second smallest division in my senior year, and now they actually moved down to Division 7, which is the smallest football division in Ohio.
Tell us about Coach Wright and what he taught you as a football player.
Coach Wright was a huge impact, still is a huge impact in my life. He just taught me how to be a professional, and I think really early on he let me in on a little bit of the secrets on playing at the next level and keeping my body healthy as I made my way through high school.
Anybody else besides Coach Wright a big influence as far as shaping you as a player or as a person?
As a person, I would definitely revert back to my family, my mom, my dad, my uncle, and then my brother, my cousin, my sister. That's my close family that I grew up with. And then I had a mentor when I was in high school. He still guides me a lot today. His name's Josh. He showed me the ropes too when it comes to playing football.
Any of the family able to get up and see you play here yet?
Yeah, actually they've been up to. My dad's been up to both home games and a couple of the away games, and then my mom, she came to the first home game, and she's been to an away game as well.
What's your thoughts so far on the team? Again, 3-2. You've lost to two highly regarded teams, but you got 3 wins and all on the road. How do you assess this season so far from your standpoint, Cam?
I think we still got a lot in front of us, and it's really all on us right now. We've said it a couple times this week, our back's against the wall, and it's really just we got to fight our way out, and every week's a big week, must win. Anytime
a transfer comes in, it's an adjustment not only for you, but for the players, the other players that you're joining. Was there a particular teammate that really helped you feel welcome or fit in here when you first came here?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of the older guys that were on the team. They really just took me in like I've been here my whole career. Guys like Myron, Keith, Austin Allward. I really had no problem meshing with those guys, and then continuing to build relationships with the guys that also transferred. It made it easy, made the transition easy. Guys like Justin White, Peyton Carter, and then Mike and Kendall. Those are my roommates, Mike and Kendall. They made the transition really smooth.
All right, you got your undergrad degree in political science, and then you're going for your master's in business administration. What do you hope to do with your degrees once your football days are done and Davenport days are done?
Actually, I know this is hard to believe, but I'm planning on going back to school and actually getting my law degree. I want to go to law school, become a criminal defense attorney.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You want to go around here? You want to go back home? Where do you want to go to law school?
The plan is to go to Duquesne in Pittsburgh. It's a little bit closer to home.
Where'd that interest in the legal profession come? Somebody in the family with that, or you just keep an eye on that?
Yeah. When I was growing up, for some odd reason, my mom told me I always just wanted to be a lawyer. I'd always carry around a little briefcase, and turns out my two cousins, they actually own a law firm back home where I'm from, so I got to intern with them. I was a legal intern with them over the summer a couple years ago.
Oh, great. So that you get a degree, you got an in to go to work, right?
Yeah, that'll be, yep. Hopefully that's exactly how it works out.
And you do watch Law & Order, the old reruns sometimes?
I have seen a few of the episodes.
All right, you mentioned your roommates. What do you guys do for fun away from football, away from school? How do you pass the time? You don't have a lot of free time on your hands, but sometimes you do. What do you do with it?
Other than just hanging out around the apartment and stuff, we actually have been to the movie theater an unhealthy amount of times probably since this semester started.
Well, you like, and he has this down in print, folks, so I have to tell him he's a Cleveland Browns fan. Where he lives, it's understandable. It's not an easy time to be a Browns fan right now.
No, it is not. It's definitely not an easy time for us Browns fans.
You like the Bengals at all, or are they the arch enemy?
I don't dislike the Bengals, and actually I like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, so I don't have a problem with the Bengals.
All right, well, we're not quite halfway through this season yet, Cam. Tell us where you still have to get better as a player for this team.
Really just keep growing as a leader. I was very honored to be named captain, and I think that that role never goes away, and I think that I just got to keep building as a leader and sharpening all my skills on the field as well. There's always room to grow.
Well, we're lucky we only get you for 1 year, right?
Yep, just 1 year.
Well, we're lucky that we got you for 1 year. You've been a great addition to this program, and Sparky tells me, as we said before, you made an influence not just on the field, but amongst your teammates here in school. So great to have you here, Cam Grodhaus, and we wish you the best next week and beyond.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to come back and talk with Sparky about this week's opponent. The Panthers hit the road up to the UP to take on Michigan Tech. Stay with us on the Davenport Coaches Show. Our final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Rick Berkey along with the head coach again, Sparky McEwen. Enjoyed visiting with Cam Grodhaus, defensive back on this team. And now we turn our sights ahead to this weekend's opponent. Davenport, the Road Warriors, hit the road once again all the way up to the UP to play on Michigan Tech. Third time in 4 years Davenport's gone up there. Sparky, you're getting familiar with the lay of the land up there.
Very familiar with it, but, I don't understand it. And I don't want to understand it because, 3 out of 4 times going up there, and it's that trip, for our school, for our athletic department, that's tough on us. You got a travel party of 80 going up there, and I just don't understand it. And I like the country; it's beautiful, but you know how I feel about bus rides. I just don't like those long bus rides, and we got to get ready to go again. And it's a really tough place to play.
Huskies are off to their best start in nearly a decade at 4-1. They've won 4 straight after falling at Bemidji State.
Yeah.
They've beaten South Dakota, Mines, Hillsdale, UW Oshkosh, and Wayne State. And the 21-6 win over Hillsdale jumps out at you so far in that win streak.
They should be 5-0. Dan's doing a great job, with them. And we knew this year that the Huskies were going to be, as advertised now, extremely tough, and their quarterback's another year into this system, and they've added an addition to it in regards to the run game. They've got experienced receivers. Their defense is confusing as ever. And the kids are their kids are playing like they're having fun. They get after you, and the home field advantage is loud and clear up there. And we expect nothing but another great fight, there in Houghton.
You mentioned Coach Metlock's team. Solid defense always, but they're not only this year, not only solid, they're really balanced. They defend the run and the pass about the same.
Yeah, they do. And, one of the keys is the consistency in the coaching staff. Even when they had Olsen there, a lot of the guys held over with this current staff. So they've done a wonderful job of keeping the guys together and setting the culture and just putting their team in position to win. This team that they have, like I said, they easily could be 5-0, at this point in time. And we know that this is a huge game. This, to us, it's the biggest game that we've had, to date. And our guys know that we have a tremendous challenge on our hands, and that we have to go in and play a game that's error-free. We've got to be disciplined, and we've got to stay locked in. We've got to stay locked in because it's going to be a 4-quarter battle.
Quarterback Alex Freese seems like he's getting better every year. 62% passing this year, 13 touchdowns, only 2 picks. So he's making really good decisions as well as completing passes.
Yeah, and they don't have a problem with throwing it. And when you have those type of statistics, I wouldn't have a problem throwing it as well. So our defense is going to have their hands full because that line is doing a good job of protecting them. When you're comfortable and you're completing 62% of your passes, that means that you have a certain comfort level in dropping back and making good throws. So, we've got to find a way. We've got to find a way to crack the code to disrupt them a little bit. And then on offense, we've got to find a way just to get in the end zone. We got to just get in the end zone, guys. I mean, this is not us right now, and we just got to get it together. And the boys are up for the challenge, and they know it's not going to be easy going up there and executing at a high level.
All-time series is 3-3. Davenport's won the last two. Coach, you're leaving tomorrow morning. Unusual, you're going to get a chance to practice, I understand, on their field the day before?
Yeah, we'll be able to do a pregame walkthrough there, and that'll be good because we have a lot of newcomers to our team, and the walk to the game field from the locker room, we want our guys to be able to experience that. When we go, to an opponent's field, typically we go just to check the footing, to check the logistics of, how far is it from the locker room to the field, press box, sidelines. We just want to go and see the lay of the land, So, it's we do it right. Our administration allow us to, make our trips the right way. We take care of our student athletes, and but it's always tough because it's away from home. It's on the bus for a while, and then you're not in your own bed. But like I told you before, our administration does a tremendous job with the logistics of helping us, go and be comfortable, and so the boys can go out and compete.
Weather should be decent, but as well as anybody, it can change in a heartbeat up in the Keweenaw.
It can. Well, knock on wood, man. I don't want it to change because right now it looks like it's going to be one of a great atmosphere up there, about 60 degrees, 5 miles per hour winds. Perfect day for football.
Back to last Saturday, again, the results weren't what you wanted, but another good crowd and a good enthusiastic crowd for you at home.
It was. It was unfortunate. I love that our fans get to see, the best of the best. When you're playing the Central Missouris and the Grand Valley State Universities on our campus, our fans get to see, what Division II football looks like. And I'm proud of our kids. They went out, we know the Central Missouri game could have went either way. Grand Valley is, they're the pride of, the GLIAC. They won the GLIAC championship the last 2 years, and we knew we had a tall order. We really felt like that we could have came out and finally got on the winning side of that thing. But to their credit, they came back and they were stubborn, and that's a tough bunch. But now we got a chance to get it together and go up and play against a really good football team with the Huskies.
Well, you guys know you could win on the road. You're 3-0 away from home, so let's see if we can make it 4 and then come back and talk about it next week here at Uccello's.
Absolutely.
All right, that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Coaches Show. Don't forget, Saturday at 12 noon, you can catch our audio broadcast live for free on 96.1 The Game Radio here in West Michigan and also on DUPanthers.com. So, again, thanks to our special guest, Cameren Grodhaus, defensive back player for DU, for joining us earlier today. So for Coach McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for joining us once again, and go Panthers.